I have to start with a blog that I wrote this weekend because this is important, and you guys know that we all have our strong beliefs. We believe in our values, etc. It is a must. But here is the thing. We also have to engage. And by engage, I mean we have to talk to the other side and find a way. So the piece that I wrote was called Beyond the Choir. Let's stop doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. It is said that the insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. In this regard, being in a constant state of polarization is insanity. I put myself in a position to engage people of opposing ideology virtually every day. In fact, yesterday I was with a group that I don't necessarily align with in a lot of things. I align with in their social aspects, in their economic aspects, but there are other things I don't. But I went there, I engaged, we had a great conversation. That's what we got to do. It used to be very stressful internally, but over time, it has created a skin thickening that has allowed me to give an inordinate grace and compassion to listen to the other side, whether it is talking to MAGA, conservatives, evangelicals, white nationals, and permutations of all of any of them, or challenging them always after listening first. And notice what I said, listening first. To be clear, I am not asking that every progressive attempt to meet MAGA where they are. In fact, I'm not even placing judgment on those who refuse. Why? Because it would not be fair. That said, some of us must do so lest we will never recover from the path of decline we're on. That is, allowing the puppeteering of President Trump into autocracy. Engaging the other side is fraught with disappointment, even after appealing to common humanity and seemingly changing their minds and hearts. Recidivism rates remain very, very high. Human nature tends to revert to its original form unless a traumatic trigger has caused the change. And that is where we are now. We must make lemonade out of these lemons. Trump and his cabal are literally selling out the country. In doing so, the results of their policies will affect every American. More importantly, it will affect MAGA and red state much more than it will affect the rest of the country. Again, remember that all these bad things that are going to happen, that have started to happen on November 1st, when people see their insurance bill, it's going to hurt MAGA a lot more. It will be traumatic as they get an outcome MAGA thought would be solely relegated to those undesirable liberals. And that is the crack that those of us who are willing to take the flak as we build a sufficient level of trust to engage must break through. This is the opportunity. This is that trauma that I'm talking about. People make changes and they no longer revert to form if you can catch the trauma. There is the trauma now. Above and beyond doing this work, since my days as a board member of the now defunct Coffee Party USA, a transpartisan organization, I work with those who are also interested in doing this type of engagement. I even try to blend the techniques in my active journalism. And notice I call activist journalism because that's what we do here. We don't follow that little simple journalism of the past that says he said, she said, without actually taking factual, fact-based opinion and actions. We take action. And in talking to the right, even on the radio and other media shows that we do. While many castigate me, Egberto, we need to expend the energy on getting our own to vote, they say. But you know what? I disagree. We must do both. The sad reality is that sometimes it is easier to flip a person who has a propensity to vote than to count on those who generally do not vote. I want to pause there and kind of qualify that. People who have that voting nerve, that voting touch, they're used to voting. They're always going to go out there and vote no matter what. Those are the people you know you can count on. If you can flip a few of those folk, you know that's a vote coming. There are folks who never vote. They don't have that fight hard and we expend a lot of energy to get them to vote. And yet they may vote here and there, but not consistently. The rain may come, it may drizzle. They'll find any excuse not to vote. That's just how some folks are wired, even as they feel the pain, because people have been feeling the pain, but they still don't vote. If you work on the voting population as well, yes, try to convert a non-voter into a voter. But those people who have a propensity to vote, they will continue voting. They are vulnerable now. When you are going to go from being insured all your life to not be able to be insured now because it's going to cost you $1,000, $2,000 more a month, that's a traumatic thing. We have to let people understand what's causing that trauma. That trauma is caused by, yes, their previous vote. We're not going to say it that way, but that trauma is caused by the current instantiation of our politics, and it's something we can do about it. And again, the pain Trump is inflicting on voting MAGA has opened cracks to give us entry if we choose to go in. And you know what, baby? We're going in. I saw a group yesterday that I spoke to. They're going in. They are on the ground. We all need to be on the ground. Remember No King's Day? I could not have been more impressed. Our Kingwood folk, just a drop in the bucket, brought out 10 times the amount of folks we have ever gathered here for a protest. That's what I'm talking about. I choose to visit their space, engaging respectfully and civilly without compromising my progressive values, as I lay out a clear path from them to realize that the policies we support are more in line with their wants and needs than the polarized vision they have. This action is not mutually exclusive from informing and activating our own base. It is real, folks. A caller on my KPFT 90.1 FM show, this show, asked the prescient question: why should we have compassion for all these people who voted for Trump or stayed home, given that Trump is doing everything he said he would? Rather than blame them, I pointed out a reality that I have accepted for myself. We had not informed convincingly or made the case. Instead of blaming, which I also do periodically in my weaker moments, we must continue to try tactics that meet them where they are and reach them. You hear what I'm saying, folks? Reach them. We will be unsuccessful with the immutable, but there are enough who can become rational when removed from their echo-chambered bubble. All of our country's problems, from polarization to ignorance on domestic and international issues to a complete misunderstanding of our economic and healthcare systems, are a direct result of a derelict mainstream media that too often bend over backwards to support corporate or bought politicians' wants as opposed to the people's needs for real information to make their lives better. Independent media is the only solution to inform truthfully and factually. Why? Because our loyalties are to you, the ones who fund us with small dollar contributions and subscriptions. Please consider supporting our independent media platforms by subscribing to our Egberto Off the Record newsletter at politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. Again, that is politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. It's an investment that pays incalculable dividends.